Hey guys, I just had to shoot this video real quick. Let's sit back. Will that work? No, I need to hold on. I'm just going to leave you there. Grand Rising. Grand Mother Flippin' Rising. Mother love us. Father love us too. No, I'm teasing. Interesting. So, I woke up, I had this dream about my second ex-husband. And a friend of mine. I mean, I haven't talked to her forever. Anyway, and there was babies. There were these other women. I don't know, we were in this house or something. And I don't know, I was asleep or I just woke up or something, and I walk out into the other room, they're all sitting around, and I'm like, yeah, this is bad. I'm like, they were all doing drugs, I think, you know? Not in front of me, but you just know. Excuse me, and I'm like, you're getting high? What the fuck? I said, you fucked that chick? You slept with her, huh? I smacked him in the face, you know? Not real hard, but still, I put hands on him. This is horrible in my dream, and I'm like, I'm not like this. And then later on, it went out, and I'm like, oh, you're sleeping with all... Then they were all going to go to the pool or somewhere. I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, and then I'm like, fuck this, I'm just leaving. This is at the end, you could stay with them, whatever. I said, why don't you sleep with fucking both of them? Maybe I will. No, just stupid. But yeah, I kept smacking on him a couple times, you know? Weird. And it just, since I woke up, and that was the last thought on my mind, it's still fresh in my memory, you know? But it's just like, we're in the house, and I'm just like, well, how fucking could you do that, man? Traumas from yesteryears past, you know, not yesteryear, because that'd be like last year, but you know what I'm saying? It's like traumas from the past. Weird. There was something else I wanted to tell you guys too, but I just thought that dream was really weird, so I didn't see the drugs, I just knew they were there. I didn't do any. I didn't have any desire, you know? I wanted to get the flock out of there. How dare he, you know, stay up all night with these chicks and shit. With a girl I know, you know? I used to live with her way back when. In the 2006, I think. 2006 to 2007, and then that same guy. Oh, I know what it was about. So this same man, in real life, when we were living together at his parents' house, I don't know if we already got married or we were getting married. But anyway, we were staying in the basement. I wasn't married yet because the missionaries were doing a missionary work on me. I had to go through all this stuff to be able to marry him because I'm not Mormon, right? Although they did baptize me Mormon. Anyway, after I got married. So, I mean, literally, right after we said our vows, I had to change and get dunked twice. That was the big joke, too. So, but I remember in this basement, I remember seeing the red, this was the whole point, red glowing eyes. Freaked me out. That was one of the first times I remember sitting in the basement, and I was sitting on his bed, and I sat up and I looked around and I had no idea where I was. I was scared for a minute. Then it all downloaded to me, right? Because at first, that was my first experience of waking up, sitting somewhere, and not knowing where the fuck I was until it all came rushing back. That place was the first time that's happened to me. But those red glowing eyes, because in the basement it's dark. Red glowing eyes in the darkness. Too red. Oh, it gives me chills thinking about it. Well, we had the missionaries come right away in the dark basement. And they said, yeah, you have 35 entities here. They're hidden in the, because we had so much crap down there. One side we lived on, the other one was just like storage. And there was stuff everywhere. And it was dark. And then I had my stuff there, So they went through all my stuff, made me get rid of, when I went to the Budweiser plant and I had Budweiser things, they made me get rid of all my Budweiser stuff, my clothes. I had to take all my piercings out. And, God, it really sucked. Anyway, they went and they cleansed it or whatever. But the red glowing, God, 2007. That's 18 years ago? Interesting. Anyway, for some reason, red glowing eyes showed up. Came to my mind, and he came to me in that dream. So interesting. Yeah, and I don't know. So we brought up the first time I ever sat up and didn't know where I was. So that's happened to me, I don't know, 4 times maybe. It's happened to me here a couple times, I think. Sometimes it hasn't been real scary. Other times it took me a little bit, because I'm sitting there and I don't know how I got there and I didn't know where I was. And you get this feeling of a flight, You got to run somewhere like, oh my God, where the fuck am I? Where am I? How did I get here? Until it all comes back to you. Then you're like, okay, I know where I'm at. Has anyone ever had that experience? Oh, I got chills. How scary that is. What is that? Then there was a time this guy, he's passed away now. I think he was at my house. Yeah. Well, possibly. We were sitting in my room, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, this is my same room, but it looks different. The colors weren't quite right. I knew it was the same place, but it felt like I was in another place in time, but in the same place. And Mike was sitting in the living room, and I'm sitting on the bed, and I was talking to him, from sitting on my bed to him in the chair. I'm like, this is the same. It's like, yeah, thank you. It's like I was back in time, but in the same place. I don't know. It hasn't happened in a little bit now. I haven't had that happen in a while. God, that was a couple of years ago, maybe 3, maybe. Yeah, because I mostly saw him in 2022. It was because of him I had to move here. He's like, I knew I had to get you out of there, so I arranged it so you had to move. I needed you out of there. Something, I don't know, weird shit, right? I'm like, I bet you did, devil. Anyway. Mike looked at me one day. One day he goes, I am the devil. I said, I know, Poppy. But, and you know, during 2022 is when I had all these amazing experiences happen in this neighborhood. I remember when I was walking up Knoll Avenue, listening to my tunes like I did, you know, barefoot. And I'm walking and I'm noticing these birds. Phew, all these birds are flying overhead. Well, I walk into the clearing where there's no tree cover. All these birds are flying by me and shit. I look up, and first it was like 1, then it was like 2, then it was like 5, but they were going around like, and they were all above my head, and it was like a scene from a movie. And I had my phone. I was so awestruck, I couldn't even grab my phone to record it. I wish I would have. Birds flying right by my head. They're all flying. I mean, they're all just flying around, and I'm just I'm standing there, and I'm just like, oh my God, you guys see this? People are walking by. I'm like, you see, you know, and then people are just thinking I'm crazy. But when I was walking back, it was like my world turned to HD, like really super digitized, you know, really bright and beautiful. Like it was the same place, but it just got real still and quiet, and it seemed different. And I was like, oh my God, this is what the Matrix is like. I'm literally awake in the Matrix right now. Everything was super bright. It was magical. It was magical. And one day I found like 13 feathers walking. And that's when feathers were. But, oh God, it was fucking amazing. But the whole waking up going, you don't know where you're at, like you just popped in. And I remember saying, you know, I remember sitting there the first time it happened at Eric's house, at his parents' house, and I remember sitting on the bed. I don't know where I'm at. And then it came rushing to me. And then I remember thinking like, oh God, Sirena, what have you done? What did you get yourself into, you know, while I was away? What have you been doing? And then, whoop, then I was back to my self, or not self. I don't know. And that's what it feels like. Yeah, that's it. I would always go, Sirena, what fucking did you get yourself into now? Where am I at? And why are we here? You know? And then, go back to normal. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, where is my soul? Where's my soul? Who's running this fucking human? I know. If you think I'm a whack job, great. But those who have experienced the same things, you know I'm not a whack job. You do realize that all the things that seem crazy and wild and just out of this world and fantasy land and all the myths and just fantasy, you know, there's a lot of truth to it. It's hard to wrap your mind around that. And, you know, it's almost definitely easier to handle all this weird, wild shit when you're sober. Almost makes it easier. Then it almost gets kind of freaky because you're like, oh God. everything that's come to me and all my inner beliefs that sit back there, it just sits back there. You get a remembrance of it, things you've thought from when you were a kid or just all throughout your life. You got to remember, I'm 55. It's all true, but how much of it is true? I've been given some really wild and crazy things, and if all these other things come true, are these other things gonna make themselves known and be true? We'll just wait and see. We'll just wait and see. The clouds don't really look like clouds. It's more of a mist, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get more storms. I haven't checked the weather, but it's sunny right now. It's sunny and nice. God, my glasses are bothering me today. My eyes are really... A lot of strange things in this world. In someone whom I love, whether it's genuine or manifested fuckery, you know, either way, I still have love and compassion for my ex. For my friend. I'm not going to call him an ex. I'm just going to call him... I don't know if I can even call him a friend. I'm just going to call him my friend. Made a contract with the succubus. That demon had come off of him. I've said this in a video before, and came after me. It's pushed me off the stairs, but it can't touch me now. Once I had the awareness, it came to me. Thank you, Father, and my guides and my spirits and my higher self and Father and all of that. Thank you for putting it in my head when I couldn't breathe and I couldn't move. It was like I was just wrapped, and so it was just very odd. I wasn't being choked, but I was being suffocated. It's really without anything around. I don't know. It was really weird, and I couldn't move. But it said, something came through. It said, "You can't touch me." So I'm like, "You can't touch me, bitch." It let me go. I remember one time I told it, I said, "You may be able to fuck him every night and do whatever the fuck you want, but you can never touch him for real, you know, like body, skin touch." I don't know, maybe I didn't say it like that, but yeah, something like that. I don't know, I said something. But yeah, he says it's gone. It's never going to leave him. And the same person, I had to go grab his sister because he sat up in bed and he was like doing this weird shit, looking around, and I was like, oh fuck. I wanted to grab his sister. I said, you got to see this. You know, so I'm not the only one, right? And he's sitting up and he's looking around, and she ended up walking away. She's like, oh my God, I can't handle it, you know. And I just laid on the bed and I sat and I talked to him. And, you know, this entity had never been in this world before. I don't know. That's what it... And then I was asking it questions, what are you here for, And it was me. And it was here to stop me. Mind you, I've been playing with this devil for a while. Why am I telling you all this? I'm sure there's a significance to it. I've mentioned these things before, but I didn't tell you about that house. Oh my gosh. My first night in the big house, because we were staying in the mother-in-law's quarters before that. And I saw all kinds of shit there. That's where all that started happening. And I would record it because when I recorded it, I could hear her voice, their voices. There was more than one. I could hear, especially her voice, when you record with your phone, on the audio recorder. I had so many recordings. I wonder if I still do. I need to get rid of them. Because that's an energy, I'm just being told. So yeah, we got to get rid of all those. But, yeah, it was horrible. But my first night in there, I was right by the door, and I could look down the hall from where I slept on the bed. And he's asleep already, and it's our first night in this house, and I jumped back because I felt all these energies, all these things run up the hallway towards me, and I jumped back to him, and I was like, oh my God, I can't stay here. Pure evil. There was a lot of souls there. The image I had gotten was like a white church. There was a colored man, a lady, and children. And then this guy in black, like walking. It was like the 1800s, right? It was all dirt roads. And this guy in black, it gives me chills. I was walking up, and all I could say is pure evil. Well, they locked them in there for some reason and burnt it down. But, so many experiences in that house. So many fucking things. And they were in the driveway, too. I'd run out of the house sometimes. Sometimes I wouldn't even go in the driveway. And I'd be like, what am I? Because he'd leave me home alone a lot. He was probably out fucking somebody. Who knows? Remember, he's got a demon running on him. He's got a succubus that's going to go do a bunch of fucking crazy shit. Throw dope on top of that? Shit. You got a sex fucking maniac on your hands. He fucked everything but me. I should be thankful. We just don't have that kind of relationship. I just was getting, he says he loves me, but I think he just wants to be like me. Oh, just got a notification. I told him yesterday I want to spend as much time with him as I can. Why did I say that, as I can? What does that mean? I know already. I'm getting prepared for it. Instead of a fear, it's an acceptance. I don't know where we're going to go from here. I know he wants me to stay with him at his house. And that's not going to happen. He says he loves me, but yet he doesn't care for my well-being. He would rather me, as long as I'm trapped in his web, so to speak. Funny when a man tries to take on your own identity, as a woman's identity. And you know how I know? When you sit back and observe people in your life, right? Maybe you guys do this and that's why I'm speaking about it. Or you need to. You just sit back and observe and watch everybody play out. You know the people that could really help you. Say with your gifts, like my gifts of healing and stuff. There's so many people that he really could have helped me help myself and make my own money and take care of myself with just the connections he has. My daughter's the same way. You sit back and you watch. There's so many people that have connections that could help you help yourself, but they won't help you. You know why? Because they want to keep you trapped. Why? I heard for their own energy harvesting. Fine, do what you want. I know you'll hear a lot of people say, and maybe this is most people's lives, but for mine, something seems different, and maybe I'm just clueless. But there's things that I have to do, I have to allow to be done, and things I have to do. I just, and this is an inner thing, I just have to. For a bigger picture. Oh yeah. Maybe it is a cop-out. Maybe it is procrastination. Maybe it is all these things. But I'll tell you what. You guys can think whatever you want. And I'm still not even... it's a fucking journey for me. Because I think the same things and I'll beat myself up over it and then clarity will come through and I'm like, oh, that's why. They're telling me it's capturing your own thoughts. Listen, I've seen some shit. I've seen some shit. I have felt things. I have things. The dead talk to me. When I would thump on my car. When I was a little girl, people would say I knew things. I spoke in future tense. I had no idea I was doing that. I've always been a very gifted child. I always knew things, but I could never prove it. So I've always was told I was crazy. And back then, I was so traumatized by just being born. Just being born. And living with the people, the places, the things. My whole life has been SA. That poor little girl, how did she ever fucking make it? That's the only time I really feel sad. And I know I put myself out of it because I guess I have an understanding and knowing that it's just the human. But I look at and kids are so resilient. I look back and every now and then I get flashbacks and I get that and I can feel the fear and I just feel sorry. Sad for that little girl that lived all these horrible things. What a brave little girl. Just a tiny little thing. Helpless. And so gifted. She's all grown up and she made it. She had to go through these things, but she knew when she was little that she was here to help women and children. She knew that. I have to go through these things because I'm going to help women and children. I was so young. I'd gone through enough, but oh man, there was so many more years still going. ripe age of 55. It's like the hardships. I heard. No, that makes no sense. It's like the hardships turn into honey. I heard like honey pot, but like, like a pot of gold, like not a honey pot, because a honey pot was what they used to get information. They used women to sleep with fucking people to get, right, pillow talk. Not that kind of honey pot. Like a pot of gold, right? I don't know. Sweet like honey. I don't know. Whatever. Whatever that means. Maybe one of you, there's something for you and you know what the fuck that means. This is... But... And here we are today. July 20th. Oh, God. July 20th, 2025, Sunday. Happy Sunday! Grand Rising! Happy sunrise! I gotta get shit ready for this fucking, trip we're taking. There's something about this trip. There's something about this trip. And it's not just a wedding. There's something else occurring. I'm not sure, but we'll find out when we get there. Something will be revealed. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So I don't know what the flip is going on, but I just had to tell you these stories, and I guess I'll stop because I've already kept you on here for 32 minutes. So yeah, I hope that this message, no, I don't hope. My intention is that this message, even though it was about, will give you clarity in something in your life. And I really appreciate you guys so much. I love you so much. I have no idea what's in store for us, but it's going to be magical. And the crazy, outlandish fairy tale things are real in a sense. You know what's real for you. You'll begin to see. I love you. Namaste.